All right, let's talk about the MHSET Paper 1. If you've looked at the syllabus, you know it's a beast. 10 massive units covering everything from teaching aptitude to environmental awareness. It can feel, well, totally overwhelming, but welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking that intimidating source material and flipping it into a highly manageable, strategic blueprint. We're going to crack this code and get you one step closer to that dream of becoming an assistant professor. Let's dive right in. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the rules of the game, then building your study schedule. After that, we'll hit mastering core academic skills, tackling reasoning and data, conquering contextual knowledge, and finally, wrap it up with the winning practice strategy. Okay, starting with Section 1, the rules of the game, exam pattern basics. So the magic number here is 50. You are going to face exactly 50 compulsory multiple-choice questions on this paper. And here's the kicker, they aren't just pulled from one or two of your favorite subjects. They are spread across all 10 units of the syllabus. So yeah, you really can't just ignore entire sections. Every single unit plays a part in hitting that 50-question total. And not 50? Well, it quickly turns into 100. Because each question is worth 2 marks, you're fighting for a total of 100 marks here. Think about it. Every single question carries the exact same weight. Whether it's a super basic reading comprehension prompt or one of those really tricky logical reasoning puzzles, they are all worth the exact same. Now, this brings us to what is absolutely your biggest advantage. Are you ready? There is 0 penalty for guessing. Literally, no negative marking. What does that mean for you? It means you must attempt every single question on the paper. Do not leave anything blank. Obviously, the primary goal is educated analysis, but knowing a wrong answer won't actually hurt your score, that should give you the confidence to just trust your gut when you're stuck. Seriously, guess if you have to. Moving on to Section 2, building your study schedule, the master plan. All right, let's talk time management, because the source material is super clear on this. You need to carve out 2 to 3 hours every single day for Paper I, aiming to knock out 1 or 2 units a week. But honestly, it's really about how you use that time. You got to be strict and break your daily study into a 4-step cycle: theory, multiple choice practice, revision, and solving previous year's papers. Trust me, this little feedback loop is the absolute secret to long-term retention and feeling super confident on exam day. But here's the thing you really need to keep in mind. Not all units are created equal. Some of them, like teaching aptitude, research, and higher ed, well, they require a really deep conceptual understanding of the principles. You have to truly internalize them. On the flip side, units like reading comprehension and math, those demand relentless, consistent daily practice just to build up your speed and accuracy. Basically, you simply cannot study math the same way you study teaching aptitude. It just won't work. Let's get into Section 3, Mastering Core Academic Skills. We're looking at Skill Bucket 1, Pedagogy and Communication. So grasping frameworks like Bloom's taxonomy actually goes so much more than just help you pass a test. The exam is going to test you heavily on teaching methods and classroom management. And since these questions are incredibly conceptual, understanding these principles genuinely builds your academic profile for your future career as a professor. It's way more useful than just forcing yourself to memorize dry definitions, right? Now, within this first bucket, you've got 3 other major pillars. For research aptitude, you really must master the fundamentals, things like research ethics, hypothesis formulation, and sampling techniques. For communication, you want to focus heavily on the practical applications, like understanding nonverbal cues and navigating classroom barriers. And finally, reading comprehension. This one is all about habit. Read short passages daily to quickly identify the main idea and tone. It's a total game changer, and it directly improves your accuracy. All right, Section 4, Tackling Reasoning and Data, which brings us to Skill Bucket 2, Logic and Numbers. You might be surprised to hear this, but logical reasoning is actually one of the highest scoring sections of Paper I. That is, provided you put in the daily practice. You really need to consistently train your brain with puzzles. Think syllogisms, coding decoding, blood relations, and Venn diagrams. Once you lock in the underlying logic of these specific question types, boom, you can secure these marks incredibly quickly during the actual exam. When it comes to math and data interpretation, the absolute name of the game is speed and accuracy. But hey, good news. You don't need advanced calculus here. You just need a really solid grasp of basic quantitative concepts like percentages, ratios, and averages. For data interpretation, you're mostly analyzing bar graphs and pie charts. It's regular practice that shaves those crucial seconds off your calculation time, and that's exactly what allows you to beat the clock on these visual puzzles. Next up is Section 5, Conquering Contextual Knowledge, covering Skill Bucket 3, Modern and Global Context. This final bucket is all about testing your awareness of the broader world that's actively shaping your future institutions. For ICT, you've got to understand modern tools, things like cloud computing and cybersecurity. Then there's the Environment Unit, which connects climate change and renewables directly to socioeconomic development. And finally, Higher Education. This one is heavily policy-oriented. You need to understand the governance of bodies like the UGC and AICTE, and definitely pay special attention to the massive, massive shifts introduced by the National Education Policy 2020. And that brings us to our final section, Section 6, the winning practice strategy, execution, and revision. Look, taking topic-wise questions and full-length mock tests is great. It really is. But the actual secret weapon? It's the brutal analysis of your mistakes. Simply taking a test just isn't enough. You have to ruthlessly review exactly what you got wrong so you can identify your weak areas for targeted improvement. That kind of deep analysis, combined with regular revision, is what ensures your concepts stay incredibly sharp. At the end of the day, it's about working smarter, not just harder. So there you have it. Your comprehensive strategy is set. That massive, intimidating MHSET paper syllabus is finally organized into a balanced, manageable game plan of theory, practice, and revision. And remember, you aren't just studying to pass some test. You're literally building the foundation of your future academic career. So grab your materials, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, which unit are you going to conquer first today? Thanks for joining me in this explainer. Now go out there and execute the plan.